It's the first day of school, and volunteers with breakfast clubs across the province are hard at work making sure students don't start their day on an empty stomach. So last school year, the Children's Breakfast Clubs served over 500,000 meals across more than 40 communities. Parents and guardians signed their children up for the program at a participating school. This year, though, we're being told the need is hitting new levels, with a wait list of schools looking to join the program here in Ontario. And here to discuss is Rick Gosling, founder of the Children's Breakfast Clubs. Rick, thanks so much for being with us to discuss
Pleasure to be with you.
An important topic here. We're heading back to the classrooms here. What are you seeing in schools?
The demand has just gone off the wall, and it's not just this last year, but since COVID. I mean, you see our numbers, over 500,000 meals served during last year's school year. And the demand is accelerating. We have over five schools we're going to be opening this fall, new ones.
Wow.
And we have a waiting list of communities that are are going to be working with us. But we build an infrastructure before we go into those communities where we have, you know, as I mentioned to you, the principal of the school has to be on board, the teachers in the school have to be on board, the caretaking staff. It's a real team effort, because the whole team has to make sure that the kids feel wanted and accessible, and the school is accessible to them. And then when the child comes through the door, they're made feel special. You know, our leader, as I mentioned to you in the onset, is when they come through that door, we want them to be welcomed, greeted, and made feel, you know, special for the day, and that they're able to participate during the school day.
Build those personal relationships.
But also make sure that they're eating their food properly. And, you know, all of our breakfasts are proportionally served to the children, so nothing is wasted. Nothing goes in the garbage can. The children can have as many servings as they wish, but they don't waste anything. And so they're not biting into an apple and leaving it. You know, there's apples are all sliced up, carrots and things are sliced up. But we make sure that those meals, too, are culturally reflective. So they may be served ackee and saltfish if it's, you know, in a certain demographic. But whatever the demographic of that community, those breakfasts serve them. And we've just actually entered into an agreement with the Canadian Multicultural Council. Everybody's breakfasts are different, whether they're Hindus or Sikhs or, you know, Punjabis or whatever. And so they're going to come in with celebrities to teach our leaders what those breakfasts are, so that the children are proud of their culture, that their breakfasts reflect the cultures in which they serve.
What sort of mechanisms are you using? You mentioned the different roles that kind of are critical to this program here. So what sort of mechanisms are you using to determine who needs to access your supports?
Principal has to request, we have to be requested to come into a community before we'll go in, because this is their breakfast club, it's not ours. And the parents have to want it. As I said, the principal has to want it. The caretakers have to be willing to work with us. And, you know, as I mentioned to you, when the child comes through the door, that caretaker, many times he or she is the first person that sees the child, and whether they're properly dressed and they have a winter coat on, winter mitts, things like that. And, you know, we chat about not only feeding the children, we want to make sure that they have the proper winter attire to get through our winters. And, you know, the last while we've had some pretty heavy-duty winters.
Yeah.
We want to make sure our kids have got their mitts and hats and coats and things. So we did over 50,000 winter coats last year, and we're just kicking off our winter coat drive now, asking people to give us gently used winter coats so that we're able to get them to our children and make sure that they have the proper winter attire to get through.
You have a wait list, as you mentioned here, so I'm wondering what kind of supports are available for those schools if they're on your wait list right now?
There's no real support for them. I mean, we interview, we sit down with the parents, and we have as I said, we have a board that actually sits down with them and establishes the need, the food menus, the hours of operation, who's going to volunteer, and how it'll operate within that school setting. Each school is different. There's no sort of cookie cutter approach to our breakfast clubs. You know, some of them are in gyms, some of them are in cafeterias, some of them are actually in. The teachers will give up, and that's what I said. The teachers, the principals, everybody has to be part of this, because the teachers may give up their lunchroom in order for us to have a space where we can cook and prepare the food for the children and make it work.
Everyone has to be on board when you have a program like this. So tell me, how can folks help with, you know, whether it's donating their time, their money, or items for your food program, as well as your winter coat program?
Well, we're totally privately funded. We have no government support, so we're reliant on donations. 87 cents on the dollar goes directly into feeding children. we don't waste anything. We're a volunteer board. I'm a volunteer. We have a volunteer board, and we have skill sets there where we have a lawyer on our board, an accountant on the board, so that we're not paying for administrative costs or structures. We're housed in American Express. They give us our office space so that we can make sure that when you donate to us, that dollar goes to feeding children where it should go, and it has a huge impact.
Okay, an important cause. Rick, we thank you so much for coming here to City
Thank you.
News 24/7. Thanks so much.
Okay.